Hello everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Edwin Montas. As you may already know, we are with the Montas Homes team. And also we have G. Bruno
Gishlan. Hi, everyone.
and Vlad.
Hi, everybody.
We are so thrilled to be here today doing our podcast. We have a lot of exciting information and ideas to share with you. And if anyone has questions while we're talking, all you have to do is to just raise your hands and we'll be happy to answer them for you.
G. Your turn, my turn.
That's awesome.
Okay, my turn. I guess I will be the one. My name is Vlad. I am with CMG Financial. I've been a mortgage loan officer for about 6 years. Before that, I was a real estate broker associate, so I kind of know both sides of the business. I've been working with Advene for the past, I want to say 4 or 5 years very closely. We closed a lot of stuff together in a lot of different areas. We basically live real estate in and out, and today we're going to talk about one topic that touches everybody's life. Either you don't own a home and thinking about buying a home, or if you already own homes, or maybe multiple homes. We're going to talk about home equity. What is home equity? Home equity, in a nutshell, is the portion of the value of the house that is the difference between the value of the house and the actual mortgage. So let's say, for example, it's very straightforward process. If you own a house and your mortgage is $300,000 and your house appraises at $500,000, what that means is that your home equity is $200,000, and that is simple as that. Today we're going to touch base on how to get access to your home equity, how to build home equity, what matters in home equity, and of course, how to use your home equity to buy more houses. Okay, so how does home equity work? Basically, it is one of the main tools, in my opinion, and it's not only my opinion, it's a very spread opinion that, owning a home in America, even a primary residence home only, is the best and the most simplest, straightforward way to build wealth in the United States, right? So what I mean by that is that you want it or you don't want it, when you own a house, you pay yourself, right? You basically pay and make yourself some savings. So where do you go from that? There is a bunch of ways how you can use your home equity. One of them, and probably the most popular one that people know about, is, of course, cash out refi, right? What that means is that, for example, Advene bought the house, 4 years ago, this one, right? So, and you bought it at a very good price because you know how to get deals in the market, right? So she does, right? So with that being said, right now she has a ton of equity in the house. You can do what it's called a cash out refi, right? So you call a mortgage loan officer, me for example, right? And you say, hey, I bought my home 4 or 5 years ago. Right now I have tons of equity. I want to look into two things. One, cash out refi, and two, maybe some other way, shape, or form how to extract your equity. So what is a cash out refi? We basically take your old mortgage, pay it off, and give you a whole new mortgage, right? The difference between the mortgage that we paid off and the mortgage that you get is the cash on hand. Usually, maximum for a cash out refi in a normal conventional situation is you can borrow up to 80% of home equity. And if we use the same example that we did before, which is $500,000 and $300,000 of a mortgage, right? You can borrow up to 80%. 80% of 500,000 is 400,000, right? So you can do a mortgage up to $400,000. With that being said, you can get yourself $100,000.
Yeah, that was going to be my question to you about the cash out refinancing. But most lenders, they require 20%.
Yes, so it's 80-20, like I said. So what it is if your house is appraised 500,000, right? You basically can get you can get a loan on that house with a cash out refi at 400,000. In some products like VA, you can go higher. Okay. FHA used to be higher. FHA used to allow you to go to 85, but right now it's also only 80. So what that means is that if you have that mortgage at 300,000, right? You basically will have to pay that mortgage off out of those 400,000. So what you will be left with is $100,000,
Okay,
Does that
that
make
sounds
sense?
good. It's going to talk also about the PMI, the private mortgage insurance, when you're doing cash out refinancing. Can you elaborate on that, please?
If you bought your home, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, that's a very good question, and you still pay PMI, when you replace your mortgage with a new mortgage, you don't have PMI,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So what that means is that if you had that mortgage, private mortgage insurance, right, it's basically when you do a cash out refi, you will get rid of that. It happened a lot when this home rise of 30-40% of equity happened, like literally a year or two ago, right? When all the houses that were sold for 300 suddenly became 450 in a New York minute. So that is a really good question. If they put down 3 or 5% or 10% down on those houses, they would be still paying PMI for the next 3, 5, even up to 7 years, right? In this situation, you delete the PMI. So cash out refi, however, does tend to have the highest mortgage interest rate. So
Okay.
that is one sort of a downside of the
The interest rate.
yes, the interest rate is a little bit on the higher end.
So here's my question here. I'm kind of lost a little bit. Are we talking about home equity or refinance?
We will touch home equity. Okay, let's touch home equity. If you want to jump straight into that river, let's do that.
Oh.
So, like I said, one of the most commonly known is cash out refi, right? However, in this market, if you bought your homes 3-4 years ago and you're looking at a cash out refi, you have your loan at 3-4%, right? And right now, cash out refi is going to be at 7. Is this the best move that you can do? Probably not. Let's be honest about it. So, when you said home equity line of credit, right? You remember we did this to a few of our borrowers, right? So what it is that if you have that $300,000 mortgage, you can get what it's called a home equity line of credit. Okay? Yes, short for HELOC. Everybody knows it as HELOC. Let's keep the short term, right? So what is that? In a nutshell, it's a credit card that is attached to your house and is secured by the second lien on your house. So it's basically your typical credit card, and it is secured by a mortgage to your house. So the way that works is usually you also only can get a HELOC up to 80%. So if we take that example of 500,000, most lenders will only allow you also to take it up to 400,000 in that situation, right? So you have your mortgage at 300, it stays. So the mortgage stays in place. It is not touched or moved, right? On the other hand, the HELOC is attached on top of that. So it's a secondary lien. So you will basically, physically on paper, you'll have 2 mortgages on the same property.
Okay.
So the HELOC is basically a second mortgage, and you just have to pay both of them. However, the beauty about the HELOC is like this. It is a open-ended credit card. Usually it's 10-year draw, a 20-year repayment. What that means is that you can, for 10 years, you can borrow as much as you want up to your limit. You pay interest-only payments. That's majority of HELOCs set up like that, right? So what that means is that, let's say, for example, you have a HELOC at like, let's say 8%, because that's approximately what it is right now, right? You
said 3%?
8.
Or
8. If you borrow $100,000 on that HELOC, your payment is going to be approximately, $650, $670 and then $100,000 a month. However, there is no prepayment of the principal. That is interest only. Now, when the 10 years go out, we will amortize your balance that you have left over there. It will be amortized for 20 years. So they will take $100,000 and make a 20-year straight mortgage on that balance. Does that make sense? Or
I'm just looking at the question. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Someone said if they do HELOC, is it only to buy another home, or what can they do with that money?
It's your money. It's your credit card with, no strings attached. When you get qualified for a HELOC, thank you for that question, by the way. When you qualify for that HELOC, you qualify for that payment. So let's say if you took out that $100,000 and you found another house right there, and you want to use it as a 20% down payment or 10%, 5%, you want to move up, move down, whatever you want to do, you can use that money. It it is totally your money.
including medical bills.
Yes, medical bills, you can do whatever. Like I said, it's basically your credit card. You literally will have a credit card attached to your bank account.
So we have another question here from, let me read the name, Marie Belize. I'm sorry if I didn't say the name correctly. When do you actually pay the HELOC money back?
Like I mentioned, right, that the 10-year is the draw, and then some HELOCs are 10-10, some HELOCs what are called are 10-20. So 10-20 is basically you borrow for 10 years and repay for 20. 10-10 is you borrow for 10 years and you repay for 10, right? When you have a balance of that, let's say that $100,000, the good example that we're using, if you have that balance, right, then you basically, they will, after 10 years of principal only, they will basically amortize that for 20 years. They will make you a 20-year mortgage of $100,000, and then you repay.
Also, it's definitely another mortgage.
It's absolutely where we're talking about, home equity line of credit. It's all attached to your house. So, but coming back to your topic, G, if I'll give you $100,000 right now, what would you do with it?
Good question. Good question.
You see, I know how to put it.
How would you do it?
Well, to begin with,
Uh-huh.
I would buy a nice car.
Yeah, I
with
knew
some
it was gonna
makeup.
happen.
No, I'm kidding. No, I
Or
would
go to
invest it.
Dubai.
Dubai it is. No, definitely not. What I would do, I would invest it in real estate.
Right? And that's exactly what we're talking about. That's a great answer, right? Because, I mean, the money has to work, right? One very smart person told me once, my actually mortgage loan officer
Oh, I thought that
training.
was me. I thought that was
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but when are you gonna give me the $100,000? No, I mean.
Not today. You see this? $100,000 already been taken. Too late. It was only hypothetical. G.
You are 1 minute short.
Yeah. Probably like 10 years short already. So, coming back to the topic, right?
Okay.
Yes.
The money has to work because it does not really matter how much money you have in the bank. It matters either what can you do with that money or how much money can you borrow and then do something with that money. Because let's face it, all of these people that have the money, it's not like they have money sitting in the bank in cash, right? They're all doing something, production, real estate, whatever it is, right? So in my opinion right now, and we will see it more and more and more, that, everybody, the market is going to crash, the market is going to this, that, However, what is going down is that nobody believes in stock market right now. There's a lot of, especially my generation. What am I? Generation Pepsi? Whatever? I don't know. Mid 30s, 40s. We take our money a lot out of the stock market, and we decided to invest in real estate because, no matter how you put it, it's a safe harbor for your investment. You know what I mean? That's why the purchasing still continues. Of course, if you will be buying a house somewhere in the middle of nowhere, that's not the best ideal thing because, it's hard to rent it out. It will be a harder process. However, if you really find a good deal in places like Florida or Texas or, North Carolina, Tennessee, it's these states right now are just simply booming. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Vlad. Someone said, I think, Linda, thank you, Linda, for your question. She said, how can she access that money? I think she's talking about the home equity. What are the requirements, Vlad?
Okay, so what are the requirements? So if we're talking about accessing the money, there is no requirements. Like I have a HELOC on my house. I can just open the computer right now and transfer whatever I want from my HELOC account into my debit account. And that's it. That's the end of the story. And the good thing about that is that the interest will only start accumulating since, the day when you open up that HELOC, if that makes sense. You see what I mean? I'm sorry, when you draw that money, not open up the HELOC. When you draw the money, that's the first day they will calculate the HELOC, the interest on the HELOC.
Okay.
Does that answer it?
And
There
the
is no,
interest
there
is
is no,
10%.
the interest is connected to, it's an adjustable rate mortgage. So the interest is connected to either LIBOR or, or any other adjustable rate mortgage, index. So the rate is adjustable. So right now, so usually it's to, Wall Street Journal, rate, prime, what they call. Right now I believe it's 7.5 or 7.75. So you're basically looking at that kind of a pricing. Yes,
Okay.
I know it seems kind of on the higher end, but if you look at the reality that you can borrow $100,000 and invest it into something, and you only pay for that investment $650 a month. I mean, even if you buy a house for, I don't know, let's say for $200,000, right? You have a small little mortgage, you rent it out to somebody will be paying your mortgage. You
Okay.
see what I mean? So at the end, you'll pay off the HELOC. Because at the end of 10 years, I'll touch on that, G, you don't necessarily have to do the 20 year. You can just refi it into another HELOC,
Oh.
and that's it. You're not necessarily have to pay it off. You can go exactly to the same bank and say, look, I want to close that HELOC and I want to open another HELOC. That's actually exactly what I did. I had a small HELOC, and I decided that, what if I'll need more money down the road? I just went out and, closed that HELOC with the same company and opened the HELOC again, just right there.
But
Interesting.
here's the question I have. Let's say you have a HELOC on your house, right? And you are on the lawn, and then your wife is in the deed. Let's say you want to go ahead and close that HELOC and open another one. Can your wife do it or no?
If she qualifies, yes. If my wife will qualify for a mortgage, she can open another HELOC on the house.
When you say if she qualifies, what does she?
So she has to have income. I just want to make sure I understand the question. Are we talking about a second HELOC next to a HELOC?
No, like you said, I was gonna ask about a second HELOC, but since you said they can close one and open another one, so if you want,
Well, she cannot close if, for example, in our situation, lucky my wife, right? I'm the only one on the HELOC, right?
she's lucky.
So she's not financially responsible for that. She cannot go and close it.
Okay.
So she has to sign the documents because in state of Florida, if you're married with somebody, both of them sign paper, right? So she'll have to go and sign paper, but she cannot just close my HELOC. No, she's not able to do that. Now, following up on the second portion of that question, can she open another HELOC? That is something that is going to be on the lender. Am I had experience with a third note on the property? No. I know that back in the days, it was possible all the time. They had these, third HELOCs and whatever, they sold, the whole crash of 2007. Right now, I never came across a property that has 3 mortgages on it. So most probably no lender will allow their lien to be third, because what it means that the lien is third. Let's say CMG, you have a mortgage with CMG, right? And then you have a HELOC with, let's say, CMG. So you have CMG, right? Or Symmetry. And then let's say you're gonna go out and open up a third Bank of, Omaha HELOC. Let's say hypothetically they gave you that HELOC, right? But the problem is that if you default on the HELOC, they have no right to foreclose on you unless the first and the second one forecloses. So basically, they are the last one to take the money out. Let's say you default, God forbid, on one HELOC, let's say that third HELOC, right? They have to foreclose on your house to get the money out of that house, right? If they foreclose on the house, CMG is gonna get paid first. Then the second, let's say Symmetry is gonna get first, a second, and then that Bank of Omaha will have to get paid third. So they might not have nothing left
To pay them.
to pay. You see what I mean? So that's why nobody really will be able to do it.
Okay. Now, I have. Oh, go ahead. I'm
In
sorry.
other words, the person on the loan is the same person who can actually close out and open one or get a second one. Am I
Yes. That's a, again, tricky question. I mean, you are, if let's say your husband has a mortgage in his name, right?
Yeah.
On your house, and then you want to go and open up a HELOC on that house, you can, you're able to do that. Absolutely.
Okay. What are the requirements to do that?
You just qualify for a mortgage.
Okay.
Your husband will go and sign that HELOC just like you did with the,
When you say qualify for a mortgage, what exactly do you mean?
I mean, they will calculate your income,
Income.
right? You know, they'll look at your, you know, taxable income, whatever, however you make your money, and then basically you will, you'll get a mortgage just like it's the same if you will get a house.
Okay,
It's the
so
same
your
qualification,
Credit score,
the same
credit
everything.
score, income.
Credit score. Usually, nobody will give you a HELOC. That's a very good question. Nobody usually will give you a HELOC if you don't have a 680.
Okay.
That's the usual score that they like to look at. There may be some companies out there that will give you if you're 640 or 660, but I probably will say that I have not
Ideal
met
one,
them.
680.
Yes.
Okay.
So Vlad,
Oh, before you ask the question.
yes.
I mean, is there what is the time frame to get a HELOC on a house?
21 to 25 days. It's the same. It's absolutely the same process as
Same process.
as a purchase. Appraisal, underwriting, you know,
Title company involved?
title company,
Okay.
you know, everything is absolutely the same.
Okay.
Like I said, it's the same as you're getting a mortgage.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Alrighty?
Oh yeah,
Do I
like
need an agent to take me out?
you see what she's doing to me? Okay. Well, you can ask your question and you can ask your question. You know? Are you sure? Okay. All right, my turn.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna ask you. Does that mean if the husband passed away, but the husband was on the loan, the wife is only on the deed, and he opened a HELOC account, right? So now, when he passed away, and the wife, let's say the wife, she's not able to pay the HELOC. So that does that mean the bank will foreclose on the property?
If she cannot pay one of the mortgages, absolutely, she will get foreclosed on.
Okay.
The husband dies, so the debt dies with him.
Exactly.
That's what you ladies think. That's what you hope for.
Exactly.
That's what you hope for.
That's the answer I was waiting for, Vlad.
Yeah, of course. Of
Come on,
course.
Vlad.
No.
Alrighty.
You owe the money, believe me. Banks don't care. He, she, that, it, whatever. You owe us money, we're gonna take it. You're a living,
even
breathing
though-
human being with a mortgage, they're gonna cash in on you.
So Vlad, even though she's paying the mortgage, she's not paying the second mortgage, they're still going to foreclose on the home.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, the second lien has the same right as a first lien to do everything exactly the same, besides, you know, getting money first. So, in the situation that they foreclose, you know, the first mortgage was going to get paid first. I mean, I had situations like I heard one of the agents once approached me and she was asking me a bunch of questions like, how come an HOA can foreclose on the property? Of course they can.
They can.
Yes.
Of course they can. They have a, you know, they have the right to lien. You know, they will put a lease pendants on the property, and that lease pendants basically will trigger foreclosure in a certain period of time, you know, and then the first bank, you know, because they had like a $40,000 loan and they had some conflicts with the HOA and they wanted to show attitude and not pay the HOA. Well, the HOA turned around and smacked a lease pendants on that sucker. And that was it. There was c'est la vie. But they were able to stop it, but of course, you know, because HOA is not in the business of owning homes, but they can literally do it. And right now, the legislation in Florida is a little bit more lenient towards it, because back in the day, it used to be very, very problematic. Right now, it's much more easier to get somebody foreclosed on, you know.
I just want to answer that question.
Go ahead.
Sharon, Vlad already explained about what you can do with your home equity. Like you can use it for your emergency bills, your buying or investing in real estate. I said emergency, right?
Buying a new Lexus,
Business course, buying a Lexus, anything. Yes.
which I don't advise you to do.
Investing, investing is the better.
Lexus is not the investing.
Vlad.
A white Lexus is not an investment. That's it. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, if you want to go to Chanel, you can go and buy yourself some nice.
Make sure that you repay that money.
Because you know you can be a in
You can
10
do-
years you can be one homeless person with a Lexus.
Well,
You know.
you can do whatever you want to with that money. However, two things you have to do. Make sure that, I mean, of course, you have to repay that money back. And secondly, before you take that money, make sure that you have a better cause for it.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Don't you?
Yeah, yes, I'm.
What is
Oh, this is Sharon.
what is the all-in-one loan?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so what is an all-in-one loan? It's an exclusive product by CMG Financial, CMG Home Loans right now, right? And that product basically, in a nutshell, is one big HELOC. So instead of buying a house with a mortgage, you buy it just with a HELOC. So let me explain to you how that works. You can also refinance into an all-in-one. All-in-one is a perfect type of a mortgage for somebody who knows how money works and that makes money in big chunks. Real estate agents, some kind of commission, people, any type of a commission people, right? Why? Let's say you found that house. Let's say you found a house for 500,000. You put 20% down, you buy it with the all-in-one loan. All-in-one loan gives you a bank account, debit cards, and a checkbook to that mortgage, right? All-in-one loan does not calculate your interest in arrears. It calculates your interest differently. So, for example, if I'm paying on the 1st of May, I will be paying a mortgage, right? I will be paying the interest up front, right? With all-in-one, it's paid in the back. So I will be paying the interest for the money that I used in April. So how it works? Let's say you have a $400,000 loan, right? On that $500,000 home. Let's say you get commissions, and let's say this month's check for you is $20,000. So on April 1st, you get your salary of $20,000. What you do is you deposit that $20,000 into all-in-one. So basically this all-in-one becomes your bank account. You see what I mean? You have direct deposit set into your all-in-one, okay? So what happens with that mortgage is right now for the whole month of April, your mortgage was not calculated on 400,000. Your mortgage was calculated on 380. You see, you're following me or no? So
Yes.
basically, the interest that will be calculated for the whole month is going to be calculated on that 380. Now, let's say you had to spend $3,000 or $5,000 by, let's say on day number 25th, right? Because this is for somebody who can structure their bills, right? If you gather all your bills in the last 2, 3, 4 days of the month and you pay them all in that day, let's say all your bills are, 5, it's probably very light. Let's say it's 7, right? Because let's be real, So you pay all your bills on the 28th of April. So those 7,000 go on top of that 380. So what happens is on the 28th, 29th, and 30th of April, you calculate your interest is calculated on 387, not 380. However, if you take daily balance for the whole rest of the month, it was only 380. You're following me what I'm saying right now? So in reality, HELOC, all-in-one might have a reasonably higher interest rate, right? However, if you really think about it, how it works, it's a beautiful way for people who know how the money works to do it the right way. Because if you really get commission in chunks, what do? You keep that money in the Bank of America, Wells Fargo or Chase, till the end of that month, and you make nothing out of that money. You'll have 10, 15, $20,000 sitting in the bank till the last day of the month and do nothing with it. Because the reality is like this, if you think about it, at 7% interest, let's say roughly, right? 7.5, whatever the loans are right now, right? Your difference in the payment, $20,000, will give you a difference in the payment of approximately $150 a month. So you see what I mean? The $20,000. So the reality is that it's like you're paying your mortgage sooner. If you literally will follow that criteria, and there's mortgage calculators in our system, you'll pay off your mortgage with the same fixed payment that you have, with the same salary that you qualified for in 17 years, not 30. You see what I mean? So it's a very cool way. It's a great question. I know that product is out there. You know, people kind of call me sometimes about it very randomly, and I'll be like, "How did you even hear about it?" They were like, "Well, we were researching how to pay off, our equity sooner." You see what I mean? And that's a product though for somebody who knows how money works. I would not look at somebody with 680 credit, buying a free 5% down payment first house, at 45% DTI. Like, this is a product for them. This is not. This is for people that make their money, know how to manage their money, and are not maxed out on their debt, because this is not for somebody. Because the best part about it, right, is that once you even open that all-in-one, right, you can go up to 90% of the balance. So even though your loan was 400, you can draw from that account all the way to 450. So if you're really a big spender,
You don't want to do that.
I don't know if this
You
is the
don't
stuff
wanna
for
do
you. You see what I mean?
If you already have a mortgage, can you change to all-in-one?
Absolutely, yeah. You're just doing a refi. You're just doing a refi into all-in-one, and that's basically it.
Okay. Okay.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
When you started answering the question, Vlad, you said that it's an exclusive product by CMG.
Yes.
So is it only CMG?
Only CMG does that, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's only CMG loan. It's like home funded. Remember we talked about
Yes,
it first?
home
Yeah.
funded, yes.
It's also only CMG. There's no other mortgage company in the United States that offers that product. Now I have a question for you,
Okay.
right? It's probably more or less up your alley. How do you increase equity, right? Being a real estate broker, you see what houses sell for more, what houses sell for less. How do you make more money out of your house, right? Obviously you can do it for different reasons, but the main reason, of course, would be, getting access to the equity, even if you're selling or, doing a HELOC. So what upgrades or what additions do you think make most sense?
Okay, that is a very good question. Basically, if you want to add more equity to your home, what you need to do is the one that we like more, renovating.
Right? HGTV 101. I don't like this backsplash. Hey, husband, I don't like this backsplash. Let's tear it away.
By now, we can all agree that we like that. We renovating. So what you do, you add a pool. Let's say you don't have a pool in your home and you have the space in the back to add a pool. You add a pool. Let's say, okay, you had a pool. However, the pool needed upgrading. You can resurface your pool and make it look, much, nicer.
Fresher.
Fresh, exactly. You can add an extra bedroom, an extra bathroom. You can replace your roof. You can redo your kitchen.
Probably
However,
kitchen is the best one, right?
exactly. However, don't think everything you do in your house during the remodeling process is gonna give you the money that you're looking for. A lot of people make that mistake, thinking that, oh, I'm going to redo this in the house. I'm going to do that. I'm going to paint the house, and then when they try to sell it, oh, I just painted the house. Of course, you painted the house. You wanted it to look good. You wanted it to look fresh, but that doesn't mean it's money that you're going to get just for painting the house. It doesn't work that way. There are things that, of course, going to bring you money, and then there are others that will not bring you money.
It makes sense.
Especially if you're trying to do a HELOC, since we're talking about HELOC. And of course, they're going to send an appraiser to appraise the home. You want that home to look, at its best. So you're going to do your kitchen, extra bedroom, your curb appeal. This is another thing in your home, to make sure that when the appraiser comes in, he look at the home and said, oh yes, this house is really worth what you're asking for it.
Someone said, what about the floor?
What about the floor? To replace the floor? You can replace the floor, but that doesn't really bring you,
Okay.
any value.
What if I replace the floor myself?
Oh, that's even better. And that's when you don't have to worry about getting that money back.
Yeah. So basically, what we're talking about is if you do the right remodels, you'll get money worth. Because obviously, the mathematical side of my logic is this: that if you spend $50,000 on the upgrades of your home, right, and you're looking to get a HELOC, and you can get 40 out of them later on when you sell it and you enjoy all those renovations, as if to me it's well worth it, right? However, we also forgot one thing. There's also a product that is designed. It's basically a home equity mortgage, right? Which is something like a HELOC, but it's made specifically for renovation purposes, right? But it's not actual HELOC. You get that money in a lump sum at the very beginning. There's no draw, there's no payback period. It's only straightforward mortgage. Let's say you open up that mortgage for, I don't know, $50, $60, $70, $80,000. Usually when we do those loans, they get appraisal involved that will look at the renovations that you're looking to do, right? And if you have the equity, that's basically how it works in a nutshell. They will give you that loan and you have a straight fixed payment on that renovation loan. So you don't necessarily have to do the whole refi, do the cash out, do this, and the other. You can just do that and get the money from a home equity loan, and that's how you can do your renovations, which is also a very good, way.
That's really good.
All right.
Thanks for sharing.
So, do you have any more questions for me?
I think you answered my question. I was gonna ask him, would you recommend someone to take equity from his home and renovate the home?
You can do that. It will, in the long run, you can do it, pretty much everybody does that. A lot of people do, the
Would you
kitchens.
recommend that?
I would definitely recommend that. However, you also want to make sure that you just don't overdo your
Overdo
house.
it.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
Like you cannot do, waterfalls, marble, sides on your kitchen counter if you live in a $300,000 home. That will never appraise. Those houses are never looked by appraisal as a custom, built home and build approach or anything like that. So you have to be really careful on how do you approach that.
Yeah, this is a good.
Yes.
I mean, I'm really glad you mentioned that because a lot of people make that mistake. And in fact, I know someone that actually did that, and she said, "Oh, I want my house to be the most expensive house in the community." I'm like, I mean, what do you mean? Oh, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this. I'm like, okay, I understand that. But that doesn't mean somebody would come to the community, in a community where every home in the community is three to 350, and then you're gonna add,
yes, that
all
is-
of these into your home.
Yeah.
Thinking that you're gonna
Something
sell it
else.
for
Like, hey, I want 500 for it. Hello there, Mr. Seller. I want $500,000. That's it. And I'm not gonna have. And I'm taking the fridge, the washer, dryer, carpeting, chandeliers. I'm taking it all.
I'm taking everything. And I'm like, yeah, this is your personal choice. You want to put all of this in your home just for the fun of it so that you can enjoy it while you live in it? By all means, go ahead and do it.
Yes.
But don't do it thinking that, oh, I'm going to sell it for 500.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't work that way. So, but
Another thing that we need to talk while we're talking about, equity and HELOC. I mean, these things are things that you can do if you plan on living in your home for a long time.
yes, for remodeling, I would have to agree. Yes. I would not, because you, like you said, you will not going to get the money out right there on the spot if you just do that. And, you just simply have to understand that if you're going to do some fancy remodeling, if you're not going to enjoy it, you will spend the money not probably the right way.
Exactly.
However, I want to also comment on that. In today's market, right, it's a buyer's market. So if my opinion was there, like if I walk inside the house and the house looks like, sorry, but Davenport 991 with green carpets and, that pink Formica, countertop, even if it is free 10 and the neighboring house is fully upgraded is free 70, I'll choose that 370
Exactly.
because it's much harder for me later to get access to the money to make those renovations. And I'm not a fancy person, but I just still don't want to live in that green carpet. Those 1991.
You're not fancy. You look fancy.
No, I'm not.
Are you sure?
You
I'm
look
sure.
fancy.
You see what I mean? And I don't like green carpeting. I'm sorry.
What about a red one?
No.
That would be-
Burgundy, red, blue. I've seen it all, done it all. Not my cup of tea. Gray, white, maybe sometimes beigey brown, but it's, you have to make sure. No, not carpet. Please, no carpet. Not the green one, not the green one. All right.
Well, that was really good, guys. I mean, thank you
Yes.
so much for.
Thank you for
sharing.
having us, and
Of
we
course.
covered a whole bunch of stuff. It was really fun,
Yes.
and see you next time.
Thank you for being, yes.
I hope everybody likes it. I mean, we had some, good time.
I mean,
Some good
they
life.
shared it, so they liked it. We have
So-
some good.
So which Lexus is it gonna be?
Hey, by the way, I wanted to say something, but I didn't
Yeah.
want to interrupt.
What is it?
My feet, they're not touching the floor.
Oh, we all know that already.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.